Okay, all right. Here is the agenda. So what I'm gonna do is, as I mentioned, the agenda. I'm gonna show you what will be the whole agenda for this demo session, and this demo session will also give you the whole course contents. What are we are going to cover in the training? So, but that will come at the end. So that's why you just go through the training. This demo session, and once we are done with the demo, I will share the course detail, what all the topics we are going to cover, and after this, you can ask the questions if anybody wants. So, all right. So here is the. So what we're gonna do is, I'll give you an overview of global supply chain. I think maybe if people who are from the sales side or from the functional side definitely must understand all these things, but this is more about from the team side. uh, and then I will show you what is the evaluation of your SAP transportation management system, how this transportation management system was come up into existence in SAP area. Then what are the different TM functional areas, and what are the different TM for process flows. After this, I will show you that what are the different SAP solutions from the transportations and logistics standpoint, and then after I will show you that how some of few examples where the shipments are done through movement types in TM system, and then I will move on to some new dimensional technologies like S4 HANA. So I will show you that what are the different elements which we have. If somebody is not familiar with S4 HANA, or if never got a chance to work on this, so that would be easy. Good for those people, that what is these Fiori apps and all. And I will then showcase what about the embedded S4 HANA system versus the side by side standalone SAP TM 9.6. Then I will discuss a little bit about the deployment options of the two platforms, like if you want to deploy it on S4 HANA system, what will be the strategies versus if you want to do a migration from your old SAP system to SAP TM 9.5 or 9.6 system. So those are the things I'm going to discuss it, and this would give you migration tools, that how the migration tools works kind of thing. One sec. I think somebody joined the watch. Yeah, yeah. And then after, I'll be comparing the past to SAP S4 HANA, and then what will be the strategic direction for SAP for TM in S4 HANA. Uh, what will be the roadmap kind of thing. And then I will, since it's just a demo session, so I cannot execute the whole end-to-end cycle, because that itself will take a lot of time. Because if I execute an end-to-end cycle, but just for your reference point, I have captured the screenshots end-to-end for shipper scenario for both TM 9.5 system as well as for S4 HANA 1809, because currently I do have 1809 box. So I did all my configuration and everything set up for this demonstration. But once we start, we will do the training in the SAP S4 HANA 1909 box, which is the latest box. All right, so I'm gonna move on to the next topic. Uh, and once this agenda will be over, then we will discuss about the training course and overview. So this is what the whole agenda of this training. So let me just move on to the next one. So I will start with the next screen, which is a global supply chain. So this supply chain has interacted with our vendors, distributors, customers, and all these things. So how those freights are moving uh, from the manufacturing company the to the customer. So since if you are a manufacturing company and if you want to ship it to your customer, so you might need to approach to a carrier. So in that case, you need to go to a shipper scenario where you have to approach the carrier, and then carrier will give you a quotation kind of thing. And if you think this quotation is okay to take that freight and deliver it to a specific location, then you go ahead, and then after they deliver, and the carrier will deliver the shipment to the customer, and then you do the settlement. So those are the things which I'm going to show it in few minutes. So also, if you are like a we do have a different flavors in SAP's TM system. One is your shipper scenario, and one is your LSP, which is a logistics service provider, where you if you are a logistic company where you just only deal with logistics, you reach out to your manufacturer like DHL or FedEx or UPS in US kind of thing, where you can take the stuff from the manufacturer and deliver it to the carrier. So in that case, you might need to go for the LSP scenario, but both scenarios are quite similar, but there are some additional documents which gets created, and those have some, LSP has some additional uh, stages compared to your shipper scenario. So my next slide is the evaluation of my of the transportation management, how this TM system was come into the existence in the TM in SAP world. So in 1987, as you know, SAP was on R2 system, which was a mainframe system, and after in 1993 they come up in the R3 system. In 2000, year 2000, they have launched the TP VS module, which is an APO. So basically, the TM module came into the existence, which is a child. I would say it's a baby of your APO module, because it adopts most of the functionality what APO has, and they took or they copied the functionality of APO, and then after they build the solution on top of that. All right, so and then slowly and gradually they have added some more functionality like event management, and then RFID, and then extended planning and ocean booking, which is like, if you want to ship your stuff through ocean or air. So those are the stuff where freight booking will come up instead of freight orders. So these are the scenarios, and then SAP TM has full-fledged launched their stuff as a standalone blocks in SAP TM 8.0, which was mainly focused for the shipper scenario, like for manufacturing company. And then later on, maybe after a couple of years, they have released the next version where the system was supporting the LSP scenarios. And in year 2013, we have launched 9.1 version. So I worked on 9.1, 9.3, and 1809. I'm currently working on 1809, and my company right now, we are migrating our 9.3 to 9.5, because that is something which is a prerequisite if you want to convert or if you want to move on to S4 HANA. So we'll discuss about all these informations in our coming slides. So moving on to next, this is again, this is the whole history, like, how this SAP TM. So basically, we were have a ERP package where we had LETRA. So anyways, this LETRA module was, it was an ERP box, and then after SAP has come up with a standalone TM box, which has specifically a transportation management solution intact in the box, which can integrate with our ECC system. But since year 2015, SAP has launched their S4 HANA product, which was like 1511. By that time, SAP didn't have this functionality, but gradually over a period of time, SAP has come up with some solutions. Like, they integrated the TM box, TM solution as well in the S4 HANA box. Uh, Moving on to and then until 1709, SAP did not add TM as an embedded system in the S4 HANA suite. So SAP has their own side standalone system, which was uh, like 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 in our previous year, like we had our own box which will integrate with our ERP, CRM system, or any other systems, EWM kind of thing. But from 1809, SAP had come up with two different design strategy. Like, if any customer who wants to go for S4 HANA, and so if they want, they can take S4 HANA 1809 box, and that 1809 box will come up with embedded TM functionality. But there are some customers who are still reluctant to go on to S4 HANA because their business is still very stable, or they might recently gone live with the previous version, so they don't want to to again invest more in this IT. So they want to just upgrade their box. So in that case, they will go for SAP TM 9.5 or 9.6 as a standalone system. All right, so this is what it is. So now let's me move on to the next slide, which is again this is the history and the development of our SAP S4HANA. I think most of the people, if you guys are from SAP background, so you must be aware, like how this SAP S4HANA has come up into the existence. Because in year 2011, I know, because when I went to the SAP TechEd, I heard there were a lot of kiosk about S4HANA. So in 2011, they have launched this product as S4HANA system. They earlier they call it as an HANA system, SAP HANA, but then after they changed it to S4 HANA, which is a suite. And in 2015-11, I think they have come up with some cloud versions. So cloud version has their own different type of flavors, like public cloud, private cloud, uh, or hybrid cloud. So those are the things which is still into existence, but it depends upon the customer whether they want to go on cloud, they want to go on cloud, or they want to go on-premise solution. So those are the things we will discuss anyways in the training session when we talk more about what are the solutions offering by SAP and how we deal with these type of situations where customer asks that which approach the customer should go, whether they should go for the cloud version or they should go for this on-premise solution. So it's all about the security and all. If the customer doesn't want to share any information on the cloud, so they will definitely not opt it for the cloud version. They will go for the on-premise. Now let me move on to the next slide, which is basically the functional areas in SAP TM. So this is how it looks like. Suppose you have your supplier, so you might be receiving a stuff. Suppose if you are a manufacturer and you have a supplier, so you might be receiving some stuff. So it will be an inbound for you. And similarly, if you are a manufacturer and you are selling your product to the customer, so that will be outbound for for your business process. But in SAP TM, uh, we don't segregate inbound and outbound. We call it all the document as a normal document. We don't consider whether this is an inbound or outbound, because for us both are same. So that's one thing which I just wanted to tell you. But so basically, SAP has TM basically is divided into four different areas, like order management, your transportation planning, your transport execution, and your charges and settlement. So each and every uh, every se- every functional area has their own functionality. Like order management is whenever you create an order, so how the orders are being reach out to the SAP TM system. So those are the things will be captured in this order management system. And then once the base document, I mean, once the sales order is replicated in our TM system, it becomes an OTR, which is an order based transportation requirement, which is basically in TM system it is a base document. Because in our pre in our prior SAP version, which was anyways it was a standalone system. So TM wanted to have one base document on which it is going to plan uh, plan the truck, I would say, or plan the freight order. So once the sales order is replicated in our box, then it goes for the planning. So for planning, what we need is we need a freight unit. Freight unit is nothing but it's just a smallest unit which can be transported throughout the life cycle of his uh, transportation process. So like suppose if you want to transport, let's take an example of Walmart. If you order something, and if the stuff is like maybe comes, or it can be fit in one box, and it can be shipped from one location on the same date, kind of thing, so it will be automatically clubbed into one box. So that becomes a freight unit for TM. So those we do have some freight unit building rule strategies where we can plan as per the business requirements. So those are the stuffs which will be fall under transportation planning functional area. So once the planning is done, then after what happens is the transportation planners basically they used to start doing the planning. So once the planning uh,